What's up, people? Joining me from inside my display cabinet today to give you a little bit of idea of the scale. So I always see two comments, or quite often see two comments. When are you doing a room tour? And number two, tell me about those cabinets, or where'd you get the cabinets, or whatever. So I built them myself, and I am not a carpenter, but I'm not afraid to try things, not afraid to fail. So, and there was plenty of that as we went along. So room tour will happen whenever the guy that's supposed to be right where I'm setting arrives. Hopefully this week coming up, it looks like. And that's the Queen Studios Loki to go with Thanos here. But until then, let's take a look at how I built the cabs. So this is what the room looked like before I started. It was a music room slash home office. The new cabinet was going on the wall where you see the guitars and the guitar amp there. This was my first an IKEA Mouse Joe, I think is how you say it. Hot Toys figures in there. You can see a couple of quarter scales up top. Spider-Man, Green Goblin. So the build process, we had carpet in there, cut the carpet out to where the frame would sit flush onto the floor, be extremely stable. Attached all the back wall into the studs of the wall there. Threw in an Iron Man for scale reference there, making sure everything looked good. Got 2x4s across the bottom deck. I wanted plenty of stability, that I wasn't going to get any sagging whatsoever. A carpenter friend of mine said, dude, you're really overbuilding this thing for what the weight is. And I was like, well, I don't do anything half-fast. Ha. Myself for scale again, I'm starting the wiring. So here you see the decking going in, which is 3/4 plywood. I want to make sure it was plenty sturdy. So I measured each of the 2x4 deck areas, which you have to get the total of that, multiply it by the number of layers, and then figure out what that leaves you for your statues. Is it going to work? Here we've started the painting of the inside of the cubicles, which was quite a task. Then painted the face. Upcoming here you will see. And then it was time to work on the doors. Here I am routering the doors. I've attached them. They are 1x6 using the pocket screws on the back side to hide. Cutting out where the router doesn't get with the multi-tool to square up for the glass. Brought them in and tested them without the glass just to make sure that everything was going to line up properly and slide properly before I got all that weight in and painted. Quite a task to get them into the room and into place. Here you see the track, which is two different tracks. Glass going in, 1/4 inch panes. Pop those in outside. Actually, this was just a test. I actually installed them inside the room for the weight. Nice and snug fit. And then it was time to paint the frames. The wife was awesome in helping me with this because it takes forever. So now we're back inside the room and glass being installed. Use these little, they call them glazing points. The M shape that you see there, and then silicone around the entire perimeter to give a extra reinforcement to the entire thing. Doors in place, the outside two first, and there we have it completed. From there it was a matter of filling all the statues in, and they've been moved around multiple times. The centers are a higher than the very top 3 and the very bottom 3. I did that on purpose to accommodate future pieces that I would be buying. So one thing I've never been thrilled with the cases is how shadowed, you know, I mean, it gives a look for Thanos' brow to be shadowed here, but you just lose so much detail in this, and I haven't ever been happy with the way that looks. So I've got these little lights. These are what are up top here. Hold them back here where you can see it better. But wow. So anyway, what I'm planning to do is add one here, and as you can see already how much that illuminates Thanos' face, I'm going to add the other one in the corner way over here, like so. And as you can already see the difference of what that does for my lighting there. So when I get to that point, that's what I was just kind of playing around. So as you're lighting your cabinet, before you actually install all the lights, try to plug them in and get an idea, you know, on the sides. You know, that would be an interesting effect, kind of to just light from the side, but actually like this, and they're actually on dimmers also. So these lights have a dimmer that I can take it all the way down to nothing, like so. So I can back this down, see if I can do all this and hold it at the same time. I can actually position this light right here at the base, and then I can bring that light in as I want. I don't have to go full blast. These lights are made by X King, found them on Amazon. I'll try to throw a link in the description there. But can just do something like that just to take out, or I can go full blast if I want. So gives you a full range of options. So any lights along the bottom here will all be controlled by the same controller hub here. All right, joining me down at floor level now. Thanos is just right over my head here. So here's the cabinets underneath. So I have the lights mounted on a piece of wood strip that I can't remember if I have photos of it, but anyway, it's just a 2x2 ripped right down the middle on a 45-degree angle, so I could use them in each of the cabinets. I drilled through the top, lights do that, nail gunned them in, and just making sure you don't hit the wires. And so each of these wires are like so. These X King lights are really cool. They are a little bit limited. You can go to about from right here to about right here. You can go up to the back wall, and then you can pretty much go almost to the front, as far forward as you'd want. But they work great for illuminating, you know, what's right here. And I'll cross shoot, you know, across to pick up and throw more light depending on where it's at. So my challenge here was what I wanted was a dead space in between each of these, and I'll show some of them in making of photos. So I have 2x4s this way, and then I have 2x4s bracing this way. But what I wanted to be able to do was access up under here for wiring and what have you, and not have to pull the deck out every single time. So what I devised is to slot, this is a piece of 1/4" plywood here. So I cut it to fit, and then I used, let me go ahead and take it loose. So I use these, I don't know if you can see this on the monitor here, but I use these little peanut nuts here. So what I did is I split it right down the middle, and then I used this lattice work channel, like so, to go right in between the two pieces. So that hides that seam there. But I can take this piece now. I have to drop all these lights out to get it because I have it fairly snug here. Got a little bit of air gap so it doesn't get too hot. But anyway. So as you can see right here, I've got an outlet. So Thanos is plugged in here, and that planet thing that I had there is also plugged in here, which is going to move up to Surfer. But I tried to put an outlet in every single one of these, and I can do, you know, extensions if I need more outlets per. But basically under every single deck is an outlet, and they're all on the switch. So not only did these lights come on, but any feature comes on at the same time. And all I did is just daisy chained them, which means loop, from cubicle to cubicle. So I can run new wires. I'm about to drill in and show what I showed earlier, the wirings. I'm going to drill into this deck right here and add in more wiring there. So, all right, so I'm going to add my lights right here in the dead center, and I need to measure that out. I'm going to say 50, so that makes my center at about 25. So I'm going to make a 25 mark right there. Yep, so this is the dead center right here. And I'm going to have two of these lights. So I want to keep them as tight as possible. So what I want to do is put one just this side of the light and one just that side of the light, like so. So about right there. Now what I want to make sure is that from under here that I'm not getting into any of my structure to create a problem. So I need to look at that. Now what I want to do is find the smallest bit. We'll cover that plug, no problem. Matter of fact, it's probably a little bit too big, but for demonstration purposes, I'll go ahead and do this one. Now that light will mount there and one back the other direction. Probably something like that. I don't know if I want it full blast like that, but just enough to take those shadows out of his face, and voila, just as easy as that. Anyway, that's secure enough. I'll go ahead and do the other one. Square those up like so. This one into the proper hub right here. And I've got lights on both sides. And they're aimable all the way from the wall to, of course, straight up, and can basically get them at the top of the back wall. You can build little shims here if you're wanting them flatter. I may have to do that for some of the statues, but since these are so tall, it's perfect on Thanos' face. What I did is made this to where I can run my wires. I can pop this back piece out. So the front is anchored, so I can access it from the bottom and I can access it from the front, but I can take this piece out. Like so. And here, I can get my hands on without having to take that entire thing apart. I can access my light control right there. All right, so you see my cases here. We got 10-foot ceilings. I think we're 16 foot in the main span here. So the design that I wanted, I saw on a video of someone building cabinets. They had a 3-door setup with 2 tracks. So this door is on the forward track. The outside 2 doors are on the inside track. So what that allows is the entire wall moves, like so. So you can expose a third at a time, and that's it. You can't get 2 open at the same time. It allows this cubicle, this one at the same time to go. Dimensions of, so this cubicle is the largest. These 2 are slightly smaller in width. So this one, the largest one, is 27 and a half, and because of accounting for Loki coming with the helmet and the horns, I actually do not have any dead space in this one. I've just got 2x2s here, so this one is a little bit taller than the other ones actually are. So the height on this one is almost 38. It's about 37 3/4, and we are talking a width of 54 inches, 54 wide. And then the smallest cubicles, I believe, are these. So basically the same width, the same depth, but you are talking about a 30 and a half height. So what is that, a 7.5 inch variance here, you know, there. again, to allow for Loki's helmet. So again, this door, so this one now, you can do like this, you know, if you're trying to go half and half here or whatever. It's kind of interesting to try to clean the glass, but this one will track right behind this one. And I put stops on them to where yeah. So whenever I roll them back, and that closes, this is flush with the frame right here. And what I did is I put a stop at the top up here so that whenever this door comes and meets the track right here, it also stops right there and is flush. And that makes that square here. So if they're not open, everything is totally uniform there. So hid the track behind a piece of molding there. As you can see in the top, I had to cut my crown up there. So yeah, it's kind of jacked up if ever get ready to eliminate this, but I'll be dead and gone. So, and I thought I'd show what you can accomplish in just one of the cubicles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quarter scale figures, including a giant hole in the middle of it. And I still could possibly get a smaller type figure. Could probably still squeeze another Black Widow style base in here. I could get almost 8. I don't like them being displayed like this because it's a little too cluttered for my liking. Eventually on the other wall, I want to where I can get basically in a line or maybe a 2, you know, spacing to get all the Avengers on one side. But anyways, 7 figures in and still space to spare. So pretty cool. So appreciate you joining me today. Hoping it inspired you. The greatest compliment that I think anyone could ever get is that someone to say you inspired me to try my hand at carpentry or try photography or try videos or whatever. So hoping some way you were inspired today to try it yourself. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I made plenty whenever I was making this. So give it a shot. Be interested in following. If somebody starts a build, let me know. I would be greatly interested to follow. If you like what I do, hit that like, sub, notification bell, follow me on Instagram. Until then, catch you next time.